Football is not just about running faster, jumping higher, or kicking harder. It is a science where millimeters and seconds determine glory or defeat. It is a mind game where cunning trumps speed and deceptive gestures can change the fate of a match. Here, intelligence shines as much as physical ability, and every decision is a master move on the psychological board of the king sport. Welcome to the show, where ingenuity always finds a way to win. Between Manchester City and Liverpool faced off on February 23rd. In the 14th minute of the match, the Merseysiders got a corner kick. Alexis McAllister's standard service, unexpectedly, was a low pass near the post. Dominic Zabala, not even looking with the spirit of Ronaldinho, threw the ball to Mohamed, who was already in the center of the area. Salah hit from the penalty area line, and after a rebound, the ball ended up in the net of the City goal. There was a fantastic combination from Liverpool. It's hard to know if it was memorized beforehand or brilliant improvisation, but everything turned out as well as it could. Is it possible to execute this confidently and effectively? The Reds' counterattack made it clear, if you saw the previous plays, that their strategy was impeccable. Remember that in the corner, Coden unexpectedly sent the first post. John Stones, with a single touch, sent the ball into the crossbar, leaving the Liverpool defense disorganized. This match is a confirmation that the confrontation between two top-level clubs is not only a physical fight, but also a tactical battle. This time, the intellectual victory was for Liverpool, despite a recent slump in their form. It is, in essence, high-level football. This allowed them to open up the defense of the English champions. On the other hand, in Germany last season, Bayern faced Mainz. It all started with a foul by Thomas Müller. The spectators watching the live broadcast, they missed the key moment, since while the play was repeated on the screens, the ball was already in the Mainz net. The referee did not indicate that the shot should be taken, but Harry Kane took the opportunity. Without hesitation, he ran to the ball and fired. The ball hit the post, but Leon Goretzka, with great effort, pushed to score, although he reasoned not to enter the final clash. This move was made possible thanks to Kimmich's instant analysis, which created a dangerous moment out of nowhere. It is a classic example of how football intelligence can decide the outcome. A little further south, in the Marseille clash, this team showed great precision tactics in the final minutes of the second leg of the Conference League round of 16. Just 2 minutes from the end, when it seemed like they would hold the score, Gerson Santos and Matteo Buendouzi improvised something unreal. A corner kick led to a play that culminated with Valentin Roger sending the ball into the Basel net. Although in the case of Liverpool a planned setup can be assumed, what happened with Marseille was pure improvisation. Basel tried to exert pressure, but the Marseille players read the situation and took advantage of it to their advantage. No wonder this goal infuriated the Swiss. After scoring, a fight broke out on the field, but Marseille, instead of counterattacking in the traditional way, tactically humiliated their opponent, quickly disqualifying them completely to separate the final of the tournament. We move on to an episode that became a model of football. The ingenuity of Dallas players Jesus Ferreira began when the guests won a penalty. And then maybe you're wondering right now, was it possible? Of course it was possible. Once I used a similar technique, use this trick more often. We will go over the details. After the infringement, the referee must make a gesture indicating the rules with his whistle. This means that the collection of the penalty can only be executed after your signal. If there is no such gesture, the player can intervene. In this episode, the referee gave no indication, and Ferreira took advantage of it instantly. He read the situation, understood that it was a formality, and without wasting time sent the ball into an empty corner of the goal. Episodes like these are rare and usually take goalkeepers by surprise. At a time like this, it is worth raising the wall in advance, but Ferreira can only be praised. He showed attention, composure, and understanding of the game in the best traditions of football. Let us now move on to an unusual episode that occurred in a match between Burnley and Liverpool. The Merseysiders played a tactical joke. Elliott shot the ball with a touch, and the hosts sent the ball into the net. It seemed nothing out of the ordinary. Elliott calmly celebrated the goal, and the spectators did not imagine that this goal could be cancelled. However, suddenly the head umpire, instead of pointing to the center of the field, ran to the bar monitor. The replay revealed a clever tactical move by defender Luis Bayer. Player number 5 Bayer, with a small movement, slightly pushed Mohamed Salah, knocking him out right at the moment Elliott fired. The rule says that if a player in an offside position interferes with the goalkeeper, the goal must be disallowed. Salah in this episode really blocked James Crawford's vision, and this became the key factor for the referee's decision. In 15 seconds, the referee decided to disallow the goal for offside. Bayer tactically expelled Salah from the play, saving his team. Jurgen Klopp, after the match, mentioned that Salah had no influence on the episode, but here the coach was somewhat hypocritical. In situations like this, the referee almost always signals offside. By the way, defenders are trained to push attackers outside the boundaries of the penalty area or place them offside, Bayern consciously or not. He ended up executing the perfect trap that nullified the goal. These types of tactics are risky, as a cunning striker could easily win a penalty. In these circumstances, let's now move on to Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez, even close to 40 years old. These two continue to surprise with their magic on the field. In a recent match, Suarez, with brilliant actions, completely turned the opposing goalkeeper's head. Not only did it block his path, it created chaos in the opposing defense. As a result, Messi detected the free space and threw a perfect pass to Suarez. The goal was a classic, and Inter Miami opened the scoring with this exhibition of football. Pure intelligence and synergy between two legends who seemed to share a unique connection in the field. One glance is enough to make you aware of your partner's footsteps. Even years later, when the connection is still so powerful that it can open the opponent's defenses, not by speed, but by intelligence. Here is the forward of the Senegal national team, Vai Nian, who demonstrated that even being off the field, a decisive result can be achieved. Are you watching this episode? Nian was off the field because he had received medical attention. Then the situation became perfect for him. He raised his hand asking permission to return to the game, and in response, the referee gave him the green light. Just then, a player from the Polish national team slowly passed the ball to his goalkeeper. No one noticed that Nian was already back in the game. He just burst into the episode as if out of nowhere. He was the first to reach the ball. He flung it elegantly past the keeper and sent it into the net at empty gates. This type of football, although unusual, demonstrates the unexpected. The last defender of Poland was absolutely sure that there was no one around. He calmly left the ball, but who would not have imagined that the opponent would appear literally nearby? Nian returned to the field at a perfect time, showing that in football, it is possible to find solutions even in unexpected situations. The Polish team, however, was not so lucky. This goal seemed absurd and turned out to be the highlight that led Senegal to victory. While the Senegalese celebrated, the Poles began their World Championship with defeat. They were eventually eliminated in the group stage of the tournament. Let's move on to the genius of Lionel Messi, who back in 2014, in a match against Apoel, demonstrated that strategic thinking is essential in football. It all started as a simple positional attack by Barcelona, until Javier Mascherano made a precise pass forward. But there was a problem. Messi was one Nemito out of the game. What the Argentine did at that moment was unique. He analyzed the situation in half a second, noticed his teammate Pedro behind him, and intentionally let the ball pass. This allowed Pedro to receive the pass, and following the rules of the game, quickly returned the ball to Messi, who was no longer offside. Messi calmly sent the ball into the goal. The Pole defenders became victims of Messi's genius. They stopped the play and raised their hands indicating offside, automatically eliminating themselves from the episode and allowing Messi to score without resistance. This episode, although it does not seem supernatural, demonstrates Messi's uniqueness in instantly analyzing the situation and finding unconventional solutions. While others react, he is already calculating several steps forward. It is worth mentioning that in our time, such a goal could probably have been disallowed. Referees now interpret offside and could decide that even without touching the ball, Messi was interfering with defenders or the goalkeeper. Any decision on the validation or cancellation of a goal has become much more complex and subjective. Such an episode would have caused a storm of controversy. Remember Salah's aforementioned offside goal. 10 years ago, there would have been a 100% probability, without anyone having doubts about the correctness of the decision. Now, football is so popular that even the slightest influence of a player in an offside position can nullify a goal. Let's return to genius, but in a somewhat absurd context. In 2010, Arsenal visited Porto in the round of 16 of the Champions League. The game continued at its usual pace until the beginning of the second half, when an episode occurred that caused much controversy. Garner's defenseman Sol Campbell made an intentional pass backwards to goalkeeper Lucas Fabianski, who thoughtlessly grabbed the ball with his hands. This was a clear violation of the rules, and the referee awarded a free kick inside the Arsenal area. Then, the real theater of football began. The Porto players reacted with lightning speed. Ruben Michael instantly put the ball on the grass and quickly passed it to Radamel Falcao, who calmly sent it into the net. The referee conceded the goal, which caused indignation not only among Arsenal footballers, but also among the public. Referee Martin Hansen did not give the signal for execution at the whistle, but everything was formally within the rules. However, the moment itself seemed strange, as Fabianski had no chance to react. The speed of Mikel and Falcao was impeccable. They analyzed the situation faster than their opponent and took advantage instantly on the other side. The episode left the feeling that the referee had created the moment, literally giving the advantage to Porto. Arsenal lost that game, and this goal became the decisive one. However, in the return match at the Emirates, the Garners destroyed Porto, sending them out of the tournament with 5 unanswered goals. They confidently advanced to the next phase. Speaking of unexpected refereeing decisions, Kevin De Bruyne's signature style shines as an example of incredible footballing thinking in a match against burnout. After an assist from Sergio Aguero, De Bruyne found themselves one down manners in an offside position. This meant that if he touched the ball, the attack would be invalidated. Kevin read the situation instantly and made the only correct decision. He even tried to touch it. It seemed so casual that it looked like he was just walking through the countryside. What really mattered were the consequences of his actions. His calmness completely disoriented the rival defense, which instinctively stopped and raised their hands demanding offside. This particularly affected the defender who was supposed to mark Regan Sterling, who ended up in an ideal position to shoot unobstructed. Sterling Marco no problem. This episode is a classic example of Bruyne's soccer intellectuality. He didn't even touch the ball, but he created the ideal conditions for the goal thanks to his logic, composure, and knowledge of the rules. This shows that football at the highest level is a game of 1,000 brains working in unison, and thus concludes this journey through the most brilliant plays, the most unexpected moments and strategies that redefine football as the art of the mind. Would you like to continue exploring this fascinating world? Then, click subscribe and be part of our passionate community. Dale. I like it. Share this video with your football-loving friends and leave us your comments. We want to know what you thought. Don't miss our next video where we will unravel another exciting facet of the king sport. Remember, here in football it is not only played on the field, it is also lived in every second. I'll see you soon.